The purpose of MERO is to reveal hidden information within organizations. Companies today already have well-systematized information available for decision-making. This is the case, for example, with financial information, which has long been housed in stable systems and regularly disclosed to various stakeholders. ESG information, on the other hand, is information that is scattered across different corporate areas within companies. It is typically not well systematized, and it requires many manual processes for management. When we talk about ESG information, we are referring to all the information related to the environmental, social, and governance aspects of the organization. With MERO, we aim to create value for our clients primarily through three main avenues. First, streamlining the data collection process for both financial and non-financial ESG data. Second, conducting an efficient process for managing key indicators across various sustainability topics. And third, ultimately making all ESG information readily available for more informed decision-making and fostering more constructive dialogue with various stakeholder groups. MERO offers various functionalities. To centralize data in one place. We create questionnaires based on global standards and specific client-required initiatives. Information can be managed at different frequencies, monthly, quarterly, and annually. Historical data enriches the processes in MERO, and each question can have the option to upload supporting documents for its responses. These can be attached files or links, and configuration options are available to make attachments mandatory or optional for each question. It is a secure web application, available at all times, and does not require any installation on the client's part. To better manage your information, MERO is equipped for seamless API integrations to and from your database. It also allows for bulk data uploads through user-friendly Excel templates. All information goes through approval workflows to ensure reliability. For user management, MERO can integrate with Azure Active Directory, making login easy and hassle-free for our clients. MERO features a notification center to keep users informed about process progress, allowing administrators to manage all communications centrally within the system. Each questionnaire has a chat service, enabling individuals involved in each process to maintain an active conversation about the information being managed. To share information and make better decisions. MERO features a download center that allows you to configure reports and download them in Excel and Word formats. We build dashboards with descriptive analytics in Power BI and manage access permissions at the user level. And to streamline work. MERO includes an administration module that allows those responsible for the entire process to control everything happening throughout the organization from start to finish. It also features a functionality for automatic translations between two defined languages, which, thanks to an Amazon-powered artificial intelligence engine, are becoming increasingly accurate. Subsequently, with the translation role, any necessary corrections can be made according to the company's preferred language. Some of these processes require third-party information verification. MERO has an audit profile that facilitates these processes, allowing these users to access the system directly to perform the verification process. Lastly, for the identified gaps in each form, an action plan can be created with key tasks that can be tracked to ensure progress in each of the areas. All these functionalities are distributed across the following system modules. Setup module. This is where all questionnaire configurations take place, including the formulation of composite or calculated indicators, as well as user creation and assignment. Administration module. It allows for notification management, modification of approval workflows, configuration of reports for data download, and the management of bulk data uploads and API configurations for data injection into MERO. Information management module. This is where users carry out the process of data entry, review, and approval for each of the forms. Action Plans module. Here, tasks associated with identified questionnaire gaps are configured, and tracking of their fulfillment takes place. Analytics module. Different dashboards constructed are published here, and depending on user permissions, they can access each of them. Let's delve a bit into the details in the following graphic to better understand how MERO works. First, we must understand that data, as mentioned earlier, is scattered across the corporate areas of organizations. These data sources can vary, with some being highly analog and others more systematized. MERO has a solution for each of the following cases. When the information resides on the computers of the responsible individuals in files such as Excel, Word, and other unstable formats, the most optimal approach is to assign MERO questionnaires directly to the responsible individuals so that they can input the information directly into the system. This is the most manual approach of all but is, in fact, the most popular due to the limited systematization of ESG information that companies currently have. Based on our previous experience with multiple companies across various sectors and sizes, approximately 70% of the data needs to be entered through this pathway. The second alternative that MERO offers for entering data into the system is through an Excel template that is uploaded directly into the MERO administrative module. This option is used when client data is stored in stable files or internal systems that allow the download of reports in Excel, and their structures can be converted into the MERO template format. It is a process we refer to as bulk data upload and is perfect for loading historical information or streamlining processes with company departments that have their own systems for managing their data but may not necessarily generate reports with high frequency or significant data volume. When the source system is stable, employs modern technologies that allow for automated integrations, and additionally, the volume of information is significant both in terms of data quantity and required frequency, MERO is equipped to integrate via API with such systems. MERO provides an API for consumption by the client, enabling automatic data injection following a predefined business rule. This is the desired path in the medium to long term. However, it's important to understand that client processes are currently very manual, and orchestrating all the necessary actors to achieve such automations can be complex. At MERO, we continue to work on making these integration processes increasingly straightforward, and we even aim to offer intermediary systems ourselves in the coming months to bring these automations to fruition. Once there is clarity regarding the data sources and the processes required to bring this data into MERO, the information management module allows for the simultaneous control of all processes with different teams within the organization. Thanks to the hierarchy of dimension, topic, subtopic, and questionnaire, the data collection process can be distributed across all areas of the organization while always considering data governance. This ensures that participants in a specific questionnaire only see the information relevant to them and do not have access to others. Each questionnaire is assigned a 3-role information flow. The first role is the data entry role, responsible for inputting data into the questionnaire. The second role is the reviewer, tasked with validating that the entered data is accurate. They have permissions in the system to modify data if necessary or can return it to the data entry role in cases they deem necessary. Once all responses are deemed satisfactory, the questionnaire can be sent to the next approval step. The approver has the same abilities as the reviewer to make changes or return questions to their predecessor, and once satisfied with the responses, concludes the flow by approving the questionnaire. With the information now stored in an organized and well-classified database, countless possibilities for generating value in its consumption emerge. MERO offers the ability to create custom reports in Excel format. It has the capability to expose information through an API for consumption and integration into other client systems, such as databases, data lakes, or business intelligence tools. Currently included in MERO's subscription plans is the service of building Power BI analytical dashboards. These dashboards facilitate data comprehension, are dynamic, and completely customizable for various usage needs. We have experience in creating managerial dashboards for presenting key information to our clients' executive teams, operational dashboards for internal use with comprehensive management details, and disclosure dashboards for the public in general, which can even be embedded on our clients' websites, taking their reporting processes to the next level. Now that we have seen how MERO operates, let's dive into some more technical topics. MERO is a technological product marketed under the software as a service (SaaS) model, which means that the client does not have to worry about anything in terms of development, infrastructure, or information security. When you acquire our service, we ensure the smooth operation of the system. It is developed with a monolithic architecture, designed to be deployed on virtual machines. It was designed with a multi-instance architecture, providing each client with their exclusive database, preventing their data from mixing with that of other clients and allowing vertical scalability according to their specific needs. MERO is a system ready to handle information with confidential classification. It is secure, and clients can trust in the information security processes we have in place. The information managed in MERO is non-transactional since all requested data pertains to past periods. Currently, it is not designed to handle real-time transactional data. The front-end and back-end applications run on IIS and were built using .NET and Angular, respectively. The system runs on two AWS EC2 servers, one for application and one for the database, with Windows Server 2019 and up-to-date updates. The servers scale as instances require more resources. We use well-sized servers, and during configuration, each instance is allocated a maximum allowed resource consumption, such as RAM quantity and CPU affinity. This way, an instance can access a good amount of resources during peak periods. MERO uses SQL Server 2016 with the latest SP and cumulative update as its database engine. SQL Server is chosen for its excellent performance, superior security, advanced features, and robustness in handling operations with MERO. Additionally, it naturally integrates with the Microsoft .NET technology stack. The database server does not have ports exposed to the Internet. We follow best practices recommended by AWS for network segmentation and routing according to the AWS well-architected framework. For the development of MERO, we have the following environments to ensure the proper deployment of system functionalities. Development environment, to work on all new functionalities and perform integration and unit testing. Production client data is not used in this environment. Testing environment, for the testing process and validation of new functionalities integrated into the system. Production client data is not used in this environment. Security testing environment, for continuous hacking testing. Production client data is not used in this environment. Production environment for end-user access, this is where real, production, client data is managed. To release a new version of MERO, it can result from the release of one or more new functionalities or bug fixes. During the requirement stage, an impact analysis is performed to evaluate which other functionalities will be affected by the changes or additions to be made. This ensures that necessary scenarios are covered both for development and testing. In the development and testing environments, it is ensured that the new version functions perfectly, and any new bugs discovered are corrected. Once the new version is ready, 2 to 3 clients are chosen who are not in a critical process point, for example, just before completing the questionnaire information flow for a disclosure process. This is done with the assistance of MERO project leaders. Deployment of the new version takes place during non-working hours in the selected instances. Version control is maintained, indicating the system version, release date, lead developer, front-end version, back-end version, worker server version, and API version, based on the elements updated in the new version. The functionalities or bugs included in the new version are communicated to the client and separately to the technical team. In addition, version control is maintained for each instance, including the current version, the date of the last 5 versions, and the person who performed the deployment. Backups of files from each release are kept in each instance. The instances updated are monitored for 2 to 5 days, depending on the impact of the new version. When it is confirmed that the version works as expected and no bugs are encountered, deployment is carried out in other instances. If bugs are found, they are corrected, and the version is stabilized again before publishing in other instances. The Internet protocol used by MERO is dual stack, allowing both IPv4 and IPv6. The front-end and back-end are configured to use secure TLS by default. The front end and back end have the functionality to redirect to port 443 if accessed via port 80. For user access management, there is the possibility of integration with the Azure Active Directory used by companies. We will detail this process further. We use various Windows services for scheduled tasks and notification delivery. Lastly, MERO features an API to expose information to external systems for secure consumption of the information stored in MERO, which we will detail later in this presentation. Access to MERO is controlled through profiles and roles. The profile represents the general access level for a user, while the role signifies the type of participation a user has within an information flow. The assigned profiles and roles can be as follows. 1. Setup. This profile allows for the configuration of the instance and is typically granted only to the MERO team assigned to the client. 2. Process Administrator. This profile enables the administration of the instance, viewing all associated forms, and filling out, reviewing, or approving them. Within this profile, there are two options to choose from. General Administrator has all actions available for all questionnaires in an event. Subtopic Administrator has all actions available only for the questionnaires defined upon user creation. 3. General User. This profile allows users to navigate and act within the system's questionnaires based on the assigned role, fill out, review, or approve. 4. Translator. This profile allows users to view approved forms, execute the automatic translation process, and adjust texts for better comprehension. 5. Consultant. This profile allows participation in questionnaires as per permissions agreed upon with the process administrator. Permissions can range from simply viewing approved information to having full visibility and direct action to comment on questionnaires during all states of the information flow. 6. Auditor. This profile allows participation in questionnaires based on permissions agreed upon with the process administrator, like the consultant profile. Additionally, the analytical dashboards published in MERO are assigned to specific users. This ensures proper governance of information in the final dashboards. Access management can be carried out through the authenticator provider integrated into MERO or by integrating MERO with the organization's Azure Active Directory. Authorization is done based on profiles and their mapping to the resources they should have access to. With the exception of login and the password reset option, API methods always require authentication. For login and the password reset option, for users registered in the authenticator provider integrated into MERO, failed authentication attempts are managed to prevent attacks attempting to guess access credentials. Password validation includes requirements such as a minimum of 8 characters, at least one number, one uppercase letter, and one lowercase letter. For integration with Azure Active Directory, authentication is performed using OpenID Connect. The integration should be configured following the process provided in MERO's Azure Active Directory Integration Manual. This process is straightforward, and we can assist the team responsible for it. Only the MERO application needs to be registered in the client's Azure Active Directory, and during the process, only users' email addresses are required. No further data sharing is necessary. This is the infrastructure diagram of MERO. MERO's application servers are primarily located in the Ohio region, and the FTPS backup server is in the Virginia region. For companies operating in the European Union, Dublin, Ireland region is used for deploying application servers, and Frankfurt, Germany region is used for the backup server. We use AWS WAF to protect MERO and all our APIs against common web attacks and bots that can affect availability, jeopardize security, or consume excessive resources. AWS WAF provides control over how traffic reaches MERO, allowing us to create security rules that control bot traffic by blocking common attack patterns such as SQL injection or cross-site scripting. It also allows us to customize rules that filter specific traffic patterns. For this service, we use AWS WAF Managed Rules, a pre-configured set of rules managed by AWS to address issues such as the top 10 OWASP security risks and resource-consuming bots that distort metrics or can cause downtime. These rules are periodically updated as new issues arise. The primary backup scheme uses AWS Backup Service to have daily snapshots of virtual machines. As a secondary level, and to implement file retention according to policy, we have another backup system based on FTPS, FTP over SSL TLS, server, which is in a different Amazon account and in a different region from the instances it backs up. Files are transported and stored compressed and encrypted with AES 256 bits. Database backups are full copies, as incremental does not apply. They are performed twice a day, at night and in the early morning, according to the instance's schedule, between 10 p.m. and 4 a.m. Backups of application files and application executables are done daily and are incremental, creating a full copy every weekend. They are performed at night or in the early morning, according to the instance's schedule, between 10 p.m. and 4 a.m. Snapshots of volumes are used to prevent potential errors when attempting to back up files that are in use. The retention of database copies is as follows. A daily copy of the last 60 days is retained, and from there, a weekly copy for the last 6 months and a monthly copy for 1 year are maintained. For application files and application executables, a daily copy of the last 60 days is retained, incremental as defined earlier, and from there, a monthly copy for the last 12 months is maintained. At MERO, we take information security very seriously. Our processes ensure confidentiality and integrity through the general use of SSL TLS. Both the front end and the back end are configured to access via secure TLS channels by default. They also have the capability to redirect to port 443 when accessed via port 80. Availability is achieved through several strategies. High-quality infrastructure, such as AWS services. We collaborate with our partner cluster to monitor and manage AWS services, following the best practices of the well-architected framework. Standardized and optimized processes for deployment of updates. Standardized processes for platform maintenance. Backups and a business continuity plan. MERO conducts periodic risk analysis and control in accordance with ISO 27001 guidelines. The sensitive information handled by the system is user passwords. For users not integrated with an authentication provider, passwords are encrypted in transit and at rest using Advanced Encryption Standard AES 192 bits. Other data managed by MERO is not classified as sensitive and is required to be unencrypted for use throughout the information management and analytics process. Additionally, the database is not exposed to the internet, and all information transfers are conducted with security certificates, HTTPS. We continuously perform ethical hacking for vulnerability management. In collaboration with our partner Fluid Attacks, we conduct comprehensive security testing, SAST, DAST, SCA, IAS, in continuous hacking mode. For these tests, Fluid Attacks, our provider, uses automated vulnerability analysis tools that are CV, common vulnerabilities and exposures, compliant. They also have human expertise to identify attack vectors that automated tools may not discover. Vulnerabilities are prioritized by criticality, with those rated higher than 7 receiving immediate attention. For resolution, if necessary, we engage the Blue Team, Sophistic Cybersecurity, to provide appropriate closure for the vulnerability. Once closed and the correction is published, the hacking team is requested to retest through the respective process management platform. If successfully closed, it remains in a closed state, otherwise, it is reopened. Vulnerabilities with a criticality rating below 7 are added to the development backlog for remediation in due course. Upon request, we can provide a certification of this service, indicating the current remediation status. Sophistic Cybersecurity, experts in cybersecurity services and solutions, provides us with SOC, Security Operations Center, services. The SOC service includes 24/7 monitoring support for CrowdStrike alerts, Cloudflare web application firewall, and database and main server audit logs. Azure Sentinel is employed as a cloud SIEM tool, providing a comprehensive view of cybersecurity events in a single, effective, and rapid management solution. Upon request, we can also provide certification for this service. In cases where applicable, we guarantee information deletion, erasing all data provided by the client through secure deletion tools or mechanisms. Client data will be delivered in a format agreed upon by both parties at the contract resolution or service termination, allowing the client to store it in their own systems or use it with a new provider's system. Lastly, we have an ISO 27001 Certified Information Security Management System, ISMS. We are currently in the process of preparing for SOC 2 Type 2 report launch, with the expectation of it being audited by the first quarter of 2024. MERO's business continuity process aligns with ISO 27001 guidelines. Our disaster recovery plan is designed with a recovery point objective, RPO, of a maximum of 12 hours, and a recovery time objective, RTO, of 8 hours, ensuring data loss and service downtime are minimized in the event of a disruption. Audit and error log. Errors occurring in the system are stored in an error log table. Changes made by users to the information are tracked in an audit table. For forms, there is a special table that stores changes made in different states of the information flow. These tables we see in the slide are the audit and error log tables. These tables are not available for direct querying from the MERO interface, but information can be requested in case it is needed for a specific event. Information from both tables is retained for 6 months, and if information from earlier periods is required, it can be extracted from the database backups. Now, let's take a look at how the integration processes with MERO work. In some cases, to respond to a certain number of questions, the client may already have the information in some system. In such cases, MERO offers the possibility of automatically loading data through REST services. For this purpose, a REST API with basic authentication is provided, which allows for data injection into MERO. This injection is performed at the question level. To execute this process, it is first necessary to configure the selection of questions that you want to inject in the administration module accessible to the process administrator. Subsequently, a user needs to be created to consume this API. In the system demo, you can see in detail how to configure this process for both the bulk loading of responses using an Excel template and the setup of the API if automated integration is required. In this slide, we can see the structure of the input JSON file and the container object that holds the common data. In MERO, it is also possible to perform integrations from MERO to other systems, such as data lakes or business intelligence tools. MERO offers a REST API with basic authentication, through which the client can consume information stored in MERO. This API is included in the licenses and has a general scope consisting of specific queries that allow for necessary consumption. In the slide, we see an example of how the API is consumed through a request in Postman. However, it can also be consumed by business intelligence tools like Power BI. Using this same method, the MERO team constructs the analytics dashboards provided in the service. We can assist the client's internal teams in the process when they want to consume all the information managed in MERO, making the most of the fact that it is already systematized. How would the MERO implementation process look like? The first step is to thoroughly understand the client's specific standards, initiatives, and key performance indicators they want to manage. Once this is clear, we proceed to correlate all this information and create a single questionnaire, which is entered into the system. This marks the first phase, which is the parameterization. Next, we determine how often the information collection and dissemination process will occur, whether it will be annual, quarterly, or monthly, and distribute the questionnaire to the teams, defining those responsible for filling it out, reviewing it, and approving it. After starting the information collection process, we define how we will analyze and use that information, creating dynamic reports in the business intelligence tool, configuring templates for data downloads, and integrating with external systems. During this implementation, we carry out a change management process and provide necessary training to the client's teams. Today, more than 200 companies manage their ESG information with MERO. Companies from various sectors and of different sizes with rigorous processes for managing their information in terms of functionality and information security. These companies serve as guarantors of MERO's service, and their ESG information management processes demonstrate what can be achieved. We are ready to accompany you in the transformation of your sustainability processes and together close the technological gap in ESG information management. Save time and centralize information with a cloud-based sustainability software. Thank you very much.